Welcome to the Courtauld Collection series in detail. I'm Ketty Gottardo, Martin Halusa Curator of Drawings, and the details that I'm focusing on today are from a drawing by Michelangelo Buonarroti titled The Dream, or Il Sogno in Italian. Emerging from misty clouds and surrounded by small, barely sketched heads, one with big, round eyes, is what appears to be a little bag made of fabric or soft leather and supported tightly by two hands. The way the hand supports the bag from below suggests the content of such a bag must be heavy. The bag and the hands are defined by precise outlines executed by pressing firmly the chalk onto the paper through its very sharpened fine tip. The modeling of the skin and the texture of the bag, however, are rendered by much softer lines and their series of tiny marks, giving the overall impression that the soft chalk has barely touched the surface of the paper. What is this bag and whose hands are those? These details are surrounded by a myriad of figures in action. At right, 5 men are wrestling with each other, and to the left, 2 couples are kissing. Below them is a figure drinking from a vessel. As we zoom out onto the whole image, we observe that this swirling mass of figures surround 2 larger naked figures. A youthful one with wings hovers above a reclining man, blowing a trumpet at his head. With the help of copies that were made after this drawing at the time when Michelangelo was still alive, we now know that one small detail has been partially erased and is now almost invisible in the original drawing. It is a hand holding a large phallus placed between the 2 couples kissing. This suggests that at a certain point in the later life of this drawing, that detail was thought to be too obscene and therefore was toned down by partially erasing it. The intervention clearly happened much later on because in all the copies that were made in the 16th century, the phallus is fully visible. What are all these figures doing together like this, and what is the overall meaning of this work? Various interpretations of the complex scene have been proposed, but the drawing's title, The Dream, given to it in the 16th century, has helped to unveil some of its mysteries. By blasting a trumpet as he descends, the winged youth seems to awake the central nude and dispel a cloud of shadowy figures engaged in various sinful activities. These figures have commonly been interpreted as the 7 deadly sins, and from left to right they are gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, envy, and sloth. Only pride appears to be missing, unless one interprets the reclining youth at the center of this drawing as a personification of pride itself. He is resting on a box containing a pile of masks, symbols of deceit and illusion, while leaning on a larger sphere symbolizing the terrestrial globe. Michelangelo seems to invite the viewer to reflect upon topics fundamental to human existence, such as virtue and vice, beauty and temptation. This vision would have seemed to follow a philosophical interpretation exemplifying the rise of a man's soul towards heaven after he has overcome his false and empty earthly existence. Only once all vices are defeated and the physical can be transcended can man achieve spiritual freedom. One of the most influential artists of the Renaissance, Michelangelo was a sculptor, a painter, architect, a poet, and a skilled draftsman, and hundreds of his drawings have survived. This work, The Dream, is generally associated with a group of very finished drawings that he made in the early 1530s and offered to Tommaso de' Cavalieri, a young member of the Roman nobility, for whom the artist felt a passionate love. These drawings, often referred to as presentation drawings, because they were presented, that is, offered to a learned patron, are very highly finished, and so is the dream that we are now viewing. The complexities of this artwork would have offered the perfect opportunity for contemplation and discussions within a learned community. We know in fact that the presentation drawings owned by Tommaso de' Cavalieri were viewed by many in Rome, even by the Pope. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will join us for the next episode of In Detail.